Hi there, and welcome to another IPT2 podcast. So, this week it is well into January now, and we wanted to discuss some things that you might want to do within your business. So, in the last episode, we talked about getting your business prepared, but what about using this time in January for some development? So, not just thinking about developing your business, but also developing yourself. When we've got the opportunity to do so, really we should be looking at how we do it rather than just trying to go through the motions of tick box exercises or writing some stuff down to do in the future and never getting round to it. Instead, if you've planned your January properly, or even if you're still in the process of that, seeing how the landscape is falling for your gym, now is a great opportunity to think, what can I do with the time I have? So, I've seen the gyms are busier. Yes, you should be focusing on marketing, but you should also have a very clear idea of what that looks like now in January, maybe even for February. And that should allow you time to then develop things. So let's take a little look at the types of things we can develop. First of all, start with your business because January is going to be important for your business. So maybe you could streamline your onboarding process. How do you actually onboard your clients? Do you give them a document to complete? Do you email them? Do you ask them to click through to a page? Do you have a QR code set up to help them go to some stuff easily? What is it you actually do for your clients? And how do you onboard your clients? That's an important thing to think about because your clients will need to be onboarded. They will thank you for it. And ultimately, it keeps you safe as well as the client, especially if you're doing the documentation like informed consent, like your contract. And these are things you may still need to develop. Looking at your business also, outside of marketing, have you done the right things that makes your business attractive? How does your social media look? How does your persona come across to people? How are your classes if you teach classes? How are your sessions? Do you start and end them properly? Do you just go in and do exercise? What is it you do with your clients? Really take a look at that so you can self develop even more. Outside of sessions, do they get the session plans? Do you send them session plans? What actually happens with those sessions? How about when you think on the actual things you've been doing for your clients in the past, such as sending them materials outside of working with them during their sessions? Have you sent them any digital packages? Have you sent them some videos? Have you yourself made up some videos? What is it you're doing that is going to attract your clients to stay longer term? Really start to think about that. Really start to think about all the things that could be helpful to your clients. And then we need to think about the opposite end of your support. What happens when a client leaves? Do you just say goodbye? Or do you have some information on them that might help for the future? Like, for instance, they're needing to stop for a while due to monetary issues, or maybe they've reached their goal. It might be worthwhile checking back in the future with these people because they know how you work, and if they liked what you did, they're more likely to come back at a later point. But what point is that? Maybe you should set a 6-month review, maybe a 12-month review of your old clients to say, look, I have spaces available. Would you like to come back? These are things you need to think on, not just, oh, I've got a client and go and do a session. All the development of your business from front to back, how you actually coach, what the actual clients get within your business will all mean that you can move forward. It will mean that you get less time having to be spent on individual tasks. For instance, if you set up a sheet that the clients can enter weight and so on, then that makes it really easy for you to actually manage. But if you don't set these things up, then how are you going to be able to manage it? If your client doesn't know there's protocols to do, such as checking in with you, then how are you going to manage that? You're going to have to be texting all the time, ridiculous times a day. You're not going to have a job where you stop. It is just going to be constant. So it's really worthwhile thinking about what you can actually do for your clients and for your own business that will develop the way you do things. So that's a little bit about development for your business, really thinking on the full journey of a client and every process that could be involved in that journey. What about yourself? Now, obviously in January, there may be some downtime for you because you may not be busy as a personal trainer yet, or it might just be that you have extra time at this time. Generally, January is a quieter month for personal trainers because people are still getting to grips with the gym. So, why don't you think of your personal development? Have you stagnated a little bit after you became a personal trainer? Have you continued to research? Have you continued to do courses? Have you thought about what kind of courses you might want to participate in the future? Have you thought about what kind of things you would like to do when it comes to your own progression? Is there a certain qualification that you would like to do? Maybe it's time to start researching that specific area if you maybe don't have the money to buy a course just now, or just want to be more knowledgeable in a certain area. There are a lot of free resources out there for specific things and generalized things also. But rather than shutting yourself away in some room somewhere, if at all possible, it might be better to do your reading out on the gym floor on a laptop. That's if you can. That's not always going to be available for everybody. But obviously, if you're on the gym floor, you're clearly a personal trainer and you're on a laptop doing research, people may come and approach you and ask for your help and support. So that's something to really think about when you are doing some of your own research, your own studies. Again, that could be distracting for some. I do get that. So it's not going to be the ideal for everybody. And certainly not every gym will provide somewhere that you can sit and be able to be on show for people. So maybe you should also look at structuring your studies, your research, your knowledge gathering for when you're outside the gym. Don't just think because you have finished work or you've finished your sessions for that day that you should just go home and stop. We have plenty more time in the year to do that, but you may find that you get busier in the coming months and need to actually rest at night time. Whereas just now, if you're doing less work, it's the ideal time to use some of that brain power on doing the research, doing the training, the knowledge building, whatever it is you actually want to do when it comes to self-development. And remember, self-development doesn't always mean that it has to be fitness-based. One of the biggest things I advocate for personal trainers is looking at the psychological field, looking at how you can help people build habits. These are things that are very progressive and helpful to your clients rather than how they can do a different type of squat. Now, granted, it's good to keep improving your knowledge base throughout your career, but the reality is you're going to come across clients that majority of the time need to have habits changed. So how you do that will really be the determination on how successful they deem you as a personal trainer and how much success they actually get a lot of the time. So lots to think on there. And again, that last little bit there about self-development is really just my own opinion. Again, you may feel your clients need other types of training, other types of even maybe life management. So it's definitely worthwhile looking at not just what you need, but also what your clients need from you. Because you might have specific interests, which is great to have on a personal level. But remember, you are being purchased by the client, and the client may need certain aspects of training that you are not aware of, or you need extra training in certain areas so that your clients can get the benefits of working with you. So really have a good think about what type of stuff you should be doing, and then make some consistent time frames to do it in. Schedule some time. Don't just think, right, okay, I've got some time today, so I'll do it then. Actually book some time in with yourself to do the training, the knowledge building, the research, whatever it is you're doing. Actually make time for it. Book it in your diary and make it something that you do whenever you have that time. So, really, the takeaways from today's podcast is more about development, more about what you can do to push yourself and your business forward. I think it's always a positive thing to want to move forward in who you are as a person, and for your clients obviously as well. The more you're progressing, the more benefits they'll get from you, because obviously you'll have more knowledge, you'll maybe physically be in a better place, which helps with the mental side of stuff, helps with the way you're able to deal with situations that pop up. So there's a lot more to it than just, oh, I should maybe do a course this year. It's really figuring out what's going to help you develop. Now, if you remember back to your course, we actually do, especially if you do the diploma, a development section. And ultimately, a lot of the time, people forget about the SWOT analysis. Now, if you haven't come across the SWOT analysis before, it is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And a lot of the time, people will understand their strengths. That's usually very common. They'll normally understand their weaknesses to a point, because people don't like knowing they have weakness or admitting they have weakness. So there will be some weaknesses that they are aware of and some they have just ignored. Opportunities, there are going to be plenty of them around you on a gym. It's whether you want to do the hard work to actually get the opportunities that are out there. Sometimes the hard work needs to be done first for the opportunity to show itself. And some people are willing to do that and some aren't. And that's okay. Either way, just understanding what opportunities are around you and how you can then build yourself towards them. And then threats, obviously, if there are threats to your business, maybe a new gym opening up in the future or new personal trainers or whatever the threat may be, making sure you're aware of them. Again, personal trainers might not see other personal trainers as a threat, and that's fine if that's the way you see it. Some personal trainers might see other trainers as a threat. I think when it comes to threats in the personal training field, there's enough trainers in a gym usually for the clients that are available. And really it's about your personality at the end of the day. So it's hard to see personal trainers as a threat. I would say the only threat would be if the management are hiring too many personal trainers, because then that thins out the amount of people that can actually get personal training. And again, that could cause friction. One of the other things that may be a threat when it comes to personal training and other trainers is if you're picking up bad habits from other trainers. So really something to look at and see, not necessarily as a business threat, but what are other trainers doing that you're picking up bad habits of? For instance, is there one trainer who just sits in the back and chats with you a lot and you allow that to happen, but you're also trying to build a business? Might be a threat. So be aware of it. And then once you've understood the SWOT analysis, once you've understood all of what's going on within what you're doing, it's then time to make a development plan. And again, this is something that we do at level 2 and level 3 in the personal training diploma. And the reason behind it is so that you can analyze what's going on and then make a plan. If you want to be a personal trainer and a successful one, think about how many clients success actually means and then work on heading towards that, but have a clear direction, goal, and that will help you get there. If you want to work with a certain type of clientele, say you want to work with people who are athletic, what sport do you actually want to work within? Because you'll not work within them all. And what kind of qualifications will you need? And then work towards those qualifications and start to work with maybe grassroots level of the athletes that you want to work with. For instance, I had a personal trainer who was really interested in Formula One, really wanted to eventually work him way up to training Formula One drivers, which is a big ask. But it didn't stop him. What he did is he analysed what he could do. He went and got his strength and conditioning. He worked and got to basically use some of the ideas and concepts with his general population clients. And then because of connections within whatever he'd been doing networking wise, he got to work with some grassroots level athletes, some young boys who were just starting their kind of journey in whatever formula it was, and helping to make them stronger, helping to get them towards their goals. And so essentially he did start to get to work with that type of clientele. Now, we don't know what his future holds, but that's the best way to start out. You're going to be able to work with more grassroots level, build these people up who can then talk about you and then come back and get more training as they evolve if you're doing a good job. So there are many things that could happen when you look at your development in the future. I hope this has just kind of gave you a little bit of an eye opener to what you could be doing this month and how you might be able to build your business that little bit better. Of course, as always, we want to be here to help you guys, so please let us know if there's anything we can help with by dropping us a message on our social medias or via email. Please leave a comment if there's any questions we can directly answer. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. We do appreciate that we are still building this channel, and we appreciate you helping us build it. And if there is any topics that are of interest to you for the future, please let us know, and we will cover as many as we can. But until next time, thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.